My name is Iris Calder. I am 33 years old, and my sister Maris used my name to secure a $72,000 wedding loan while telling our parents I had finally agreed to help. On the afternoon of her rehearsal dinner, the bank manager walked into the country club with the signature card and asked me to sign it in front of both families. The first alert came while I was grading expense reports at my kitchen table. New loan document pending. At first, I thought it was spam. The subject line looked official, but people have become very good at making fraud look like paperwork. I hovered over the sender, checked the domain, and saw the name of the credit union where I had kept my accounts since college. Pinegate Credit Union. Loan applicant, Iris Calder. Amount, $72,000. Purpose, event financing. I read that line twice because my brain refused to connect my name with the words event financing. My idea of an event was buying a cake from the grocery store and remembering candles. I was not financing anything, certainly not $72,000 of anything. Then I saw the co-applicant field, Maris Calder, my sister. I sat back so fast the chair hit the wall. Maris was getting married that weekend at Briar Hill Country Club, a place with stone gates, imported flowers, and a ballroom ceiling painted like the inside of a jewelry box. She had spent 9 months saying the wedding would be tasteful but memorable, which in my family meant expensive enough for guests to notice, but not honest enough for anyone to ask who paid. I assumed our parents were helping. My mother, Joelle, had been acting like the wedding was a civic achievement. My father, Grant, had spent months telling neighbors that Maris deserved one beautiful day, after years of dating men who called themselves entrepreneurs. Nobody mentioned my name. That was new. In my family, my name usually appeared whenever something had to be done quietly. Iris can drive Grandma to the appointment. Iris can review the lease. Iris can cover dinner because Maris forgot her card. Iris understands. Iris is practical. Practical is a compliment people use when they want to borrow your life without paying interest. I clicked the document. The application summary opened with my name, my address, my employer, and the last 4 digits of my social security number. Some of it was old. The salary was wrong. The job title was close enough to be dangerous. The email was not mine. The phone number belonged to my mother. That was when my hands went cold. I called Pinegate immediately. After 2 transfers and 1 hold song I hope never to hear again, I reached a manager named Kendra Shaw. "Ms. Calder," she said, "I am looking at the application now. It is flagged because the signature card has not been completed." I did not apply. Silence. Not empty silence. Professional silence. The kind that means someone has placed both feet on the ground. "You did not authorize this loan?" "No." "Are you familiar with the co-applicant?" "She is my sister." "Do you have any reason to believe she has access to your personal information?" I almost laughed. Maris did not need to steal my information like a stranger. She had been given pieces of it by our family for years. My mother had a folder with everyone's birth certificates. My father knew my old tax preparer. Maris had once borrowed my laptop and saved half her passwords in my browser because privacy to her was what other people were supposed to provide. "Yes," I said, "she could have access." Kendra's voice stayed calm. "I am placing a temporary freeze on the application. I will also need you to come in with identification if you want to submit a formal fraud statement." "I can be there in 40 minutes." "Good. Do not discuss the freeze with the co-applicant until we secure the file." That instruction was easy because my sister called me 6 minutes later. I watched her name light up my phone. Maris. I let it ring. She called again. Then my mother. Then Maris. Then a text from my father. "Call your sister. She is upset and this is not the week." Not the week. That phrase did so much work in my family. Not the week to ask why Maris needed another deposit. Not the week to tell Mom I could not take Thursday off. not the week to mention that my sister had chosen a champagne tower before paying the florist. Now, it was apparently not the week to object to a loan in my name. I drove to Pinegate. Kendra Shaw was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with neat braids and a gray blazer. She met me in a glass office and did not waste time pretending this was normal. She checked my ID, asked a series of verification questions, and turned her monitor slightly so I could see the application summary. The online application was submitted from an IP address linked to a residential account, she said. We will handle that internally. The important part is that no funds have been dispersed because the final signature card requires in-person confirmation for this amount. Why did I get an alert? Your name triggered an existing member notification. So if I had ignored it? The application would still need review, but the co-applicant scheduled a mobile signing for tomorrow at Briar Hill Country Club. I stared at her. At the rehearsal dinner? Kendra's expression told me she had been waiting for me to catch up. Yes. I leaned back. She wanted me to sign at her rehearsal dinner. The appointment notes say family co-applicant confirmation. There are lies that are so bold they almost become architecture. Maris had built a whole room around the assumption that if she put me in front of enough people, I would sign rather than embarrass her. She knew me well enough to try. She did not know me well enough to succeed. Kendra slid a fraud statement across the desk. You have choices, she said. We can cancel the application now, we can refer the matter, or, because there is already an appointment scheduled, we can attend and confirm non-consent in person. That sometimes prevents later family claims that the applicant misunderstood. You are allowed to do that? With your written request and our legal department's approval, yes. We will not stage a scene. We will ask standard questions. If you state you did not authorize the loan, the application is closed and referred. I looked at the signature card. Applicant signature. Blank. That blank line felt like the first honest thing in the file. I want the appointment to happen, I said. Kendra nodded once. Then we will be precise. Precision is the closest thing I have to revenge. That night, my family tried to soften me without admitting what had happened. My mother called first. Iris, Maris is under a lot of pressure. About the loan? Silence. Then, she told you. The bank told me. My mother inhaled sharply. Why would they do that? Because it has my name on it. You were supposed to help. I was supposed to be asked. Your sister thought you understood. Understood what? That she needed $72,000 for chair covers and salmon? Do not be ugly. That sentence made something in me settle. Mom, did you put your phone number on the application? She went quiet again. I only wanted to make sure nothing got lost, she said. You helped her use my name. We did not think of it like that. That is because you did not have to carry the debt. My father took the phone. I heard the handoff, the little whisper, the exasperated breath. Iris, he said, this family has one wedding this weekend. Do not turn it into a police matter. Then she should not have turned it into a bank matter. She was going to pay it. With what? He did not answer. Maris had taste. She did not have income that matched it. Dad. They have gifts coming in. Cale's family is contributing. Cale was the groom. His family owned 3 dry cleaners and a boat they talked about like a child. So why is my name on the loan? My father's voice hardened. Because you have good credit and no one else could get the rate. There it was. Not a mistake. A strategy. I am not signing. You will humiliate her. No, I said. I will identify myself. He hung up. The rehearsal dinner was scheduled for 6 at Briar Hill. I arrived at 5:42 wearing navy, not black, because I refused to dress like a funeral for my own credit score. Briar Hill had a terrace overlooking a pond with 2 swans and enough landscaping to hide most moral failures. Guests stood around with champagne while servers passed trays of food too small to trust. Maris stood near the fireplace in a white suit, laughing with Cale's mother. She saw me and froze for half a second. Then she smiled. That was my sister's gift. She could put a tablecloth over a fire and ask guests to admire the linen. "Iris," she said, crossing the room, "you came. You invited me. I was worried after today." "About the loan?" Her smile tightened. "Not here." "That was your plan." She touched my arm. I looked down at her hand until she removed it. "Please," she whispered, "just get through tonight. We can talk after." "No." Her eyes flashed. "You do not even know what this is like. Having a wedding? Having everyone looking at you. You arranged that part." My mother appeared beside us with the speed of someone who had been watching for sparks. "Girls," she said through a smile. "Guests." "There it is," I said. "Iris, not now. It is always not now." My father joined, face already red. "You are making people stare. They are about to stare harder." At 6:03, Kendra Shaw entered with a leather folder and another bank officer beside her. She wore the same gray blazer. She looked calm enough to lower the room temperature. Maris turned pale. Cale frowned. "Who is that?" His mother lowered her glass. Kendra approached the small cluster of us with professional courtesy. "Good evening. I am Kendra Shaw from Pine Gate Credit Union. We have an appointment for a loan signature confirmation." My father muttered, "This is unnecessary." Kendra did not look at him. "Ms. Iris Calder?" "Here," I said. "May I see your identification?" I handed it to her. Maris whispered, "Iris." Kendra checked my ID, then opened the folder. "For the record, this is regarding application PG-44819, event financing in the amount of $72,000, listing Iris Calder as primary applicant and Maris Calder as co-applicant." Cale's face changed. "Primary applicant?" he said. Maris turned to him. "I can explain." Kendra placed the signature card on a small cocktail table. "Miss Calder," she said to me, "did you apply for this loan?" "No." "Did you authorize anyone to apply on your behalf?" "No." "Did you agree to be financially responsible for this loan?" "No." The room had gone so quiet I could hear ice settle in someone's glass. Kendra nodded. "Then the application is denied for non-consent and referred to our fraud review department." Maris made a small sound. My mother grabbed the back of a chair. Cale looked at my sister like he was seeing a bill instead of a bride. "Maris," he said, "you told me Iris offered." Maris's eyes filled instantly. "I thought she would." That sentence did more damage than any accusation I could have made. Cale stepped back. "You thought she would? So you put her name on it?" "We needed the deposit." "For what?" Maris looked around at the flowers, the terrace, the string quartet setting up near the doors. No one needed her answer. My father turned on me. "Are you satisfied?" "No," I said. "I am protected." Kendra collected the documents. "Miss Iris Calder, we will send a copy of the denial and fraud statement to your secure inbox. Please monitor your accounts." "Thank you." She looked at Maris. "Ms. Maris Calder, Pine Gate will contact you separately. I recommend you do not submit further documents using another person's information." It was the gentlest way I had ever heard someone say, "Stop committing fraud." After the bank officers left, the rehearsal dinner did not recover. People tried. They always try. Cale's father asked about parking. My aunt complimented the soup. Someone turned the music up. But every conversation leaned away from the crater in the room. Maris followed me onto the terrace. "You could have called me," she said. I looked at the pond. One swan was bullying the other away from the reeds. The bank called me first. I was desperate. "You are entitled. You do not understand weddings." "I understand signatures." She wiped under her eyes. "Everyone will think I am a criminal. What should they think? Her mouth opened and closed. For once, charm had no bridge across the gap. My mother came outside next. Iris, please apologize to your sister before this ruins tomorrow. I turned slowly. Apologize for what? For doing it here. She scheduled the signing here. Because she thought you would be kind. No, Mom, she thought I would be trapped. My mother looked away first. That was new. Cale canceled the wedding at 9:17 that night. Not because of the loan alone, I think, but because the loan made him ask what else had been arranged around appearances. His family paid the venue cancellation fee to keep their vendors from suing. My parents blamed me for that for exactly 13 days, until Pine Gate's fraud department requested statements from both of them. Then they became very quiet. Maris took a plea agreement months later for identity misuse and falsified financial documents. No prison. Restitution, probation, and mandatory financial counseling. My parents were not charged, but their names sat in enough paperwork to make church gossip unnecessary. The restitution hearing was the first time Maris looked at me without a room to perform for. She wore a gray sweater and no jewelry. Our parents sat behind her, close enough to look supportive and far enough to pretend they were not involved. I sat across the aisle with Kendra's denial letter folded in my purse, not because the court needed it, but because I did. The judge asked if I wanted to make a statement. My mother shook her head slightly. That almost made me stand faster. I walked to the front with one sheet of paper. I had written 3 pages the night before and deleted most of them. Anger writes long. Clarity edits. My sister did not borrow from me, I said. Borrowing requires asking. She used my name because she knew I had spent years protecting the family from discomfort. She counted on my silence more than my consent. That is the part I want recorded. Maris looked down. I continued. The money matters. The credit matters. But what I lost first was the assumption that my family understood I was a person and not a resource. My father's face changed then. It was small, but I saw it. He had heard resource. He knew that word belonged to him too. Afterward, in the courthouse hallway, Maris stopped me near the elevators. I did not think it would go this far, she said. That is because you thought I would stop it before consequences started. I thought you loved me. I did. That is why this hurts. Love is not a signature you can fake. She cried then, but quietly. For once, she did not look around to see who was watching. I am sorry, she said. I wanted the apology to fix more than it did. I wanted the words to travel backward, erase the application, remove my mother's phone number, return my father to the version of himself I had invented when I needed a kinder parent. They did none of that, but they were clean. Thank you, I said. Do not ask me for anything for a long time. She nodded. That was our beginning, if you can call distance a beginning. I changed banks anyway. Not because Pine Gate failed me. They did not. I changed because every time I logged in, I saw the ghost of a blank signature line waiting to become a trap. My relationship with my family became smaller and more honest. My mother now asks before sharing my phone number. My father no longer says, good credit, like it is a family resource. Maris sends occasional texts from a number I did not block. I answer the ones that contain accountability and ignore the ones that contain weather. 6 months later, my father came to my apartment with a box of old family documents, birth certificates, insurance cards, school forms, copies of tax returns I did not know he still had. He set the box on my table like an offering. These should be with you, he said. Yes, I said. He looked at the floor. I told myself we were helping your sister. You were helping her spend my name. He closed his eyes. I know. That was the first time he did not argue with the exact wording. My mother took longer. She sent articles about forgiveness, then quotes about sisters, then one message that said she missed when things were simple. I replied, things were simple for the people who were not being used. She did not answer for 9 days. On the 10th, she wrote, "I put my number on the application. I am sorry." I saved that text in a folder called Receipts, which may sound petty until you have lived in a family that edits history while you are still standing there. I also froze my credit for a full year. Every time I had to thaw it for a normal application, I felt annoyed, then grateful. Annoyed that protection had become another chore. Grateful that the next blank line would wait for my real hand. The strange part is that I do not remember the rehearsal dinner as humiliating. I remember the room. I remember the flowers. I remember my sister's face when the word primary applicant reached the groom's side of the family. But the feeling I remember most is relief. For once, the document asked the question out loud. Did you agree? No. I keep a printed copy of that denial in my desk, not to stay angry, to remember the exact shape of my own number. That one word saved me $72,000 and years of resentment disguised as family loyalty. That is my story. My sister planned to use a crowd as pressure and a signature line as a cage. The bank manager brought the card into the room, and I left with my name still mine. If someone calls your boundary cruel because their plan required your silence, remember this: consent is not a family favor. Share this story with someone who needs that reminder, and tell me where you are listening from.